Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent, the channel is EOS San Diego. And of course I talk about cryptocurrencies, blockchain cryptocurrencies. And tonight I want to talk about the video that I made the other night, because I made a video the other night and opened a Pandora box. The Pandora box that I opened was, I basically said that I believe that there is a reset happening right now, and it's continuing to happen, will continue to happen as we go on. And actually COVID is bringing the reset, it's quickening the reset, making it happen quicker. But the reset was inevitable simply because of the fact that we have fiat currencies that are worth very little, if anything. Actually, as I said the other night in my video, they're worth less than nothing because they have liability. They cost money to print. They cost money to maintain, making sure they're not counterfeited. And now, you know, there may even be a way to spread the virus. So actually, I'm pulling one out right now. This currency that we carry in our pockets, in fact, I got these $3 in my wallet, has very little value, if any at all. In fact, I think it's a liability, negative. Assets have appreciated incredibly because of this currency and the printing of this currency, which means there has to be a reset on those assets that have gone up in value because of increased money printing. And we need an alternative way of interacting, some way of being able to have transactions without fiat currencies and have a reset on all the assets that have been inflated because of the increased printing of these fiat currencies. And of course, I thought there would be a world digital currency. And of course, that opened the door that if there's a world digital currency, it's going to be created by communists, whatever people think, globalists, New World Order, whatever, I don't know, whatever word you want to put behind it. They are going to control this new world cryptocurrency, and then it's going to put us all, enslave us all. And that's kind of like the Pandora box that I opened. I want to address that tonight because everybody's scared of that and everybody's fearing that. And I'm getting messages about, you know, this thing, and everybody's fear mongering, especially those people that want to hoard money by buying gold and silver and want to say that the economy is a house of cards. It's ready to implode and that we're all going to be homeless here very soon. And if you don't buy gold and silver, that you're going to basically not have any food or anything to eat or anything, you know, basically you're going to be living homeless without anything whatsoever. In fact, I just got through watching one of these videos. They're so prevalent on the internet anymore, I don't even see anymore who made the video. I'm just watching them. Everybody says it's all going to collapse. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket, and digital currencies are going to help the process. And if you don't save yourself with some gold and silver, that you will end up street homeless, whatever it is that, you know, it's going to happen to you. So I want to address that, talk about that a little bit tonight, because I could not be in more disagreement. I think that the future is bright. I think that cryptocurrencies are the answer, and I will try to explain it. I always talk about analysis. A lot of times people just give conclusions. They don't give analysis. There's something that you do learn. One of the few things I did learn in law school was that there's a method of analyzing something called IRAC, which is issue. You apply the rule, the application, and the conclusion. Everybody wants to skip directly to the conclusion. Nobody wants to do the issue, the rule, and the analysis. It's probably one of the reasons why I didn't do very well, was that I never wanted to go through the process of spotting the issue, applying the rule, arguing, doing the analysis, evaluating and then having the conclusion. I always wanted to skip to the conclusion, as everybody liked to do, and everybody says the conclusion is that the world's doomed, that we're all doomed, and that if we don't, it's all doomed, and there's nothing you can do, and the only thing you can do is hoard some money in gold and silver. That's the only way. And if you buy into this cryptocurrency garbage, you will have world tyranny by a bunch of globalists that want to enslave you and make you get vaccinations and, you know, keep you from voting for Trump. I mean, that's basically what's happening if you don't buy into those conclusions. And those conclusions are fairly prevalent on the internet, and they're, you know, and especially in this time of things shutting down and people losing their jobs and, you know, stimulus money and all the other stuff, that's the route we're taking. And I want to argue that that's not the route we're taking. That's the route that people have been on for a number of years, and that's the route that is about to, that's what this, in my mind, the reset's all about. The fact that the years that have gone by where there has been secrecy about our monetary system, the Federal Reserve, how the Federal Reserve works, how the Federal Reserve controls the economy. And it's actually been out of coercion, out of force, out of the force of the fact that the U.S. government has been powerful, militarily powerful, and that if you go against the military of the United States, or go against the United States and the U.S. dollar and the financial system that's been put in place, that you will bear the consequences. And one of the consequences you'll bear is you'll come under the not only the threat economically by being cut off, which is the United States won't do trade with you, but they will force you to denominate buying oil or whatever else in their currency, U.S. currency. If you want to know what happens to you if you don't buy oil in U.S. currency, just go back and research Saddam Hussein, or Saddam Hussein, however George Bush used to say that. When he decided not to use U.S. dollars, then the U.S. Coercion, U.S. military decided to, you know, take care of him, and that's exactly what happened. So we actually have a system in place in the world today that's forced upon people. It's not what people want to use, it's what people are forced to use because of the strength of the military of the U.S. government, the strength of coercion to force people to use a fiat currency that they don't necessarily believe or want to use, but they have to use, because if they don't use it, then they will suffer the consequences, much like Saddam Hussein did. So that's the system that we've been under, and that's a system that people know doesn't work and isn't working, and that's why we need a reset. And I believe the reset comes in the form of a digital currency that is run by a world community that doesn't have coercion behind it, but has unity and has acceptance behind it. I have to tell you a quick story. We started this project, the challenge application in EOS, over a few years ago, three years ago probably, when we initially decided to do this. And we wanted to do it initially on Ethereum, realized that Ethereum wasn't going to scale, discovered EOS, and of course immediately jumped on board with EOS. I built this channel around EOS. And that's one of the reasons why it probably hasn't grown as much as it should have, because EOS hasn't really performed the way people liked it to perform. But it did do very well in the beginning. There was a lot of exuberance and a lot of what would you say, happiness, and everybody was excited and was, you know, thinking it was going to be a short term. Everybody was going to be really happy really quickly. And of course, it didn't turn out that way. And through the process of this all happening, you know, we spent a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of energy into this application that we've built that's running very well today. But there was a point in time where it was not doing so well, and we were really worried, and we'd put a lot of money into it. And I was talking to my son one day about this, and I was saying, gosh, what are we going to do? And, you know, my son looks at me, he says, well, Dad, you don't understand cryptocurrencies. And I said, well, what do you mean I don't understand cryptocurrencies? You know, I've thrown a ton of time at this thing and a ton of money at it. What is it that I don't understand? And he says, you don't understand what builds cryptocurrencies is a community. And we need to build a community. A community that wants to belong, wants to join, and wants to grow and sees value in this. And that's exactly what we did. So when we did that, then everything started to take off. And when the community started to grow, so did our the idea of what we were doing grew. Hey, how's it going? Hey. Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah, you were over at the house the other day, weren't you? Yeah. Okay, so now you're in my video tonight too, so. Good to see you, man. Talk to you later. Yeah, see ya. So he said we needed to build a community. Of course, when we built a community, everything started working out very well. We didn't build a community by coercion. We built a community because people wanted to have a better way to make a little bit of money and to be able to transact with other people, which is what we did. We built a challenge application with a smart contract that allows you to make a challenge for somebody to do something, and then if you complete the challenge, you're rewarded with the cryptocurrency. And it's a functioning system that works very well, unlike the a coercive system where we force people to use it, and people are in a situation where if they don't use it, they have penalties or consequences. This is something that we built that people use, and they enjoy using it, and that's what the secret to the community, to the application is. It's a community. I think this digital dollar, digital world currency that we're about ready to explore here, hopefully very soon, is going to be something that people want to use, and they're going to want to use it because of the transparency and because of the unity and because of the fact that they'll do it because it's a prosperous thing to do. I know I'm getting a lot of things going on here as far as what people think and believe, and it's hard to undo what people believe. It's very hard to undo what people think, and it's very hard for people to give up ideas and thoughts that they've grown up with their whole lives and to let them go. But that's kind of what cryptocurrency is all about. It's about letting go of everything that you think and trying to do a restart or a reset, which is what's happening in the world today. And that's what's going on here with digital currencies. This is a complete reset, and it's going away from governments and centralized organizations that set monetary policies like the Federal Reserve with interest rates and expansions and bubbles and all the things they do. Not that that couldn't go on forever, because it would go on forever, because there's nothing to stop it. The only thing that stops it is education and people understanding it. And I think that's why it's not going to continue, and that's why I don't think you're going to have anything kind of centralized entity running the world digital currency, because they've been exposed. And once it gets exposed, nobody wants to do it except for by coercion. And you can only coerce people and threaten people for so long until they start to rebel. And when they rebel, then you lose your control, and somebody else is going to get the control. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think any centralized digital currency will ever happen, because if it does, people will rebel against it because it forces them to do something they don't want to do, or there'll be conditions and terms involved that, put them in a position where they know that they don't want to do it. And if they don't want to do it, and you don't have the means to force them to do it, they won't use the currency. So I think the new digital currency will have utility behind it. It will be smart money. It will be have conditions. It will have value. And it will be much like I said the cell phone is the other night. It'll have something so good, it'll be so useful that people won't not want to use it. They will use it because of that reason. I don't believe it will be a centralized system, because the centralized system's gig is up. It's been exposed. People know that it doesn't work, and the only way it works is by what Trump does. Is he runs around and he threatens people with economic sanctions, or we're not going to trade with you, or we're going to close off our borders, or we're not going to send you soybeans, and or you're not going to bring us, you're not going to send us back our electronic items that are made in your country. I mean, he's just trying to throw a monkey wrench into everything, because he's still thinking in a traditional way. I'm telling you, with cryptocurrencies, you have to think in a non-traditional way. You have to think more in a way that this is a new way, a new idea that is all interests are aligned instead of being coerced and forced into something. So the digital currency will be all interests aligned. People will want to use it. It will be smart money. It will have value. It will have value beyond just the fact that you hold it. It'll have value because it'll promote, what would we say? It will promote unity throughout the world. It will promote the trading and the working with each other all together without borders, limitless. A lot of people say the reason that the money doesn't work today is because it violates a lot of principles and natural law. Just like there's natural laws of gravity, there's natural laws of thermodynamics and aeronautical dynamics, aeronautical engineering, everything like that. Why an airplane flies, why a ship sails. All these physics and principles can't be violated, or if you do, you know, that doesn't work. Well, the same thing with the financial principles. If you violate financial principles, which is printing too much money or coercing people to use currency or trade wars or anything like that, if that stuff doesn't work, then the currency fails and everything fails around it. Well, that's kind of what's going on right now. So you can't violate these natural laws in the real world, and you can't violate them in the economic world of money. And there is a system in play right now that doesn't violate any of those laws and is working very, very well and is prospering and is actually probably the best investment over the last 10 years. And everybody already knows what I'm going to say. It's going to be Bitcoin. So there is no coercion with Bitcoin. Nobody's forcing you to use Bitcoin. There is no centralized entity running Bitcoin. It's running on a blockchain, which is decentralized. People want to use Bitcoin because it's easy to move and there isn't any kind of liability associated with it. People want to mine it because if they mine Bitcoin, they get Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's valuable. So there's so many values and things, natural laws that make Bitcoin the best, economic system in play, and it's in play right now. I'm just saying, let's take it a step further as a digital unit and make it a world currency. Maybe not Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a smart contract platform, but make it a smart contract platform and make the unity, the community of the world running it, so that everybody has aligned interests and nobody's coerced to use it, and it works and benefits everybody in the world. And everybody's interests are aligned and everybody has prospers, and the world comes out of the dark ages, so to speak, of being afraid and being scared of some, globalist system of evil people running the world, to where everybody unites and trades as partners across borders with each other with a digital currency that's easy to hold, easy to use, easy to have, and nobody's hoarding money, everybody's spending money, and everything works very smoothly. That's what I believe is going to happen. That's why I believe it'll be run on a public blockchain. It'll be run with smart contracts. It'll be run with some conditions. But all these conditions are going to be favorable, and it's going to have aligned interest for people that are using it. And this is what I believe is going to happen. This is why I think this is the system of the future. This is probably why I'm one of the few people right now that is saying what's happening right now, the reset, is not going to be a negative reset, but a positive reset. And it's not going to be negative for the world, it's going to be positive for the world. You also got to realize that a lot of people that are making videos right now and are talking about this have an agenda or a motive. So you got to look at what could they possibly, if they're generating a video on YouTube, they probably have some motive. One of the motives is they have something to sell. Either a course, or, and not that I say, have any problem with that, because I think that's a great idea. If you have a course to sell, if you have information to sell, if you're a gold or silver dealer, and you want people to buy your gold and silver, obviously you're going to say things are bad, you need to hoard your money, put it in gold and silver. If you have a course that's going to tell you how to survive the new economic crash, that's going to be a motive for them to make a video and tell you how bad things are. If they're telling you things are bad because it gets subscribers, because people want to basically always gravitate to the negative. Those are reasons why people make those kinds of videos. So you always got to look at why those videos were made and what the reason is and what the real motive for people are. I can tell you honestly, my motives right now for making this video is just the fact that the love for cryptocurrencies, the love to have a better world to live in, and the love for technology. That's why I make this video. Very little monetization comes from this video. In fact, I wouldn't monetize it at all if it wasn't for the fact that if I did monetize it, YouTube wouldn't even offer it as something that as something to watch, because YouTube would like to make a little money too. So even though I just got a few thousand subscribers, I've got to monetize it for YouTube to even show it as an option for somebody to watch. But it doesn't make any money, and if YouTube just demonetized me, I wouldn't care. It's not a means of my support. I don't have anything to sell. I don't have a course. I don't even ask people to subscribe to this channel. I don't have a course to sell. I don't have a business or anything like that to sell. Outside of being an investor in cryptocurrencies, the only thing I have to offer is to tell you about the application that we built, which is a free application, which gives you free cryptocurrencies. And the reason we do that is we're just trying to give people an easy entry point into cryptocurrencies. Free, everything's free. We don't charge anybody anything for anything. So my agendas are basically not to try to make people or get people to be scared or to get people to go in a certain direction, because if I get them to go in that direction, there's a payday for me on that somewhere. I have no agenda whatsoever. The only agenda I say is that I enjoy this and I want to do this, and I would do this mainly because it's a learning tool for me too. Because when I first wanted to learn about EOS, I thought, wow, I really enjoy this, and I want to learn more about it. And the best way for me to learn about it is to talk about it every night, make a video, and hopefully get people to watch the video. And as people get interested and more questions come about, and I do more research, and I made videos every night for 2 years, over 2 years, thousands of videos. I think 1,400 videos right now. And probably most of them have been on EOS. In fact, well over 1,000 have been on EOS. So, you know, when you make 1,000 videos on a subject, you kind of get a little bit, you know, you do quite a bit of study and research. And of course, I looked at it from every angle. We did the programming, we built the application. You know, we did everything. We started it from scratch, we started from zero. And of course, I wanted to be involved with the whole process. I learned everything I could, and that's why I did this video. That's why I started this channel. And that's why I built around EOS. And that's why I continue to do it to this day, because I enjoy it and I like it. And I don't have a motive to try to make people think a certain way or another. What I'm telling you is my own personal beliefs. What I'm telling you is what I see. And what I see in digital currencies, spending the time that I've spent with them, is they are a prosperous future and not a negative future. This is a win for the world and for everybody that lives in the world today. And not to be fearful or thinking that anytime something new happens, that it's going to be time to, you know, run off and live in the wilderness and dig a well and live off the land. I mean, there's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people selling you survival stuff, you know, because they think that everything's gonna crash here in the next few months or next few weeks or next few years. I'm not one that believes that. I believe that the elite people of the world understand that information is power. And right now we do have a centralized system of coercion with financials. And they realize that if they continue that they will lose their power will be overthrown. So they're not going to have that happen again. So there will be some sort of system that will rise up out of this centralized, coercive system of threats and guns in a system, you know, just like the Federal Reserve System today. If you violate the Federal Reserve System, you will be in trouble. In fact, for many years, it was all been secret. I remember when I first learned about it with G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. I didn't even know anything about it. I'd been to college, been to law school, and I still didn't know anything about it. But you know, when I read that book and understood it, I said, wow, this has been a secret for so many years, probably since 1913 when it was first established. But now it's on the internet, it's all over the world, everybody knows about it. So that system's not going to continue to work. And if people that are in control of that system try to replace that system with another digital system, they will know that won't work either, because people understand that those won't work. It's kind of like, if I could make an analogy, it would be like what's going on right now in law enforcement. You know, obviously when a police officer pulls somebody over, they want to be in control. And if you do anything not to let them be in control, they will deal with you very, very severely. So I've seen people thrown on the ground. I've seen people beat up. I've seen people, maybe not for doing anything too extreme, but just for not doing exactly what the police tell you to do. They will make sure you come under their control very quickly. If you don't come under their control, they will make sure they deal with you in a very, very, what would you say, abusive way. And that's been going on for a long time. Now, me personally, I've never had a problem with police. I don't have a problem with police. In fact, I have a good friend, one of my best friends is a police officer. So I've never had a problem with police, but I know a lot of people have. But today, we have the camera. And people go out and actually audit police. So you know, and I haven't, there's a guy I watch, his name is Freeman, and it's so funny because he has a video, it's got over 1 million views, and I think the video, one of the videos is where he goes out and actually asks police officers things that police officers ask us, like where were you today? Where are you going? Have you been drinking? And he just walks up to police officers and asks them the basic questions they ask almost everybody that they ever pull over, and the police officers take offense to it. But basically you're just turning it back on them. But see, police want to be in control, and if you don't let them be in control, they will violently put you in your place. Well, that's kind of the way the system works today. The monetary fiat currency systems work today. If you don't stay under their control, they will violently put you back into your place. But today, with the cell phone camera and the videos, when people take videos of police officers that act in a way that violates somebody's rights or is criminal to the point that the police officers are the ones that are thrown in jail, light gets exposed and the police officers change the way they treat people, because they know you can't violate people's rights, you can't beat people up, you can't kill people if there's somebody with a video cam on you, because people won't tolerate it. The world won't tolerate that. Well, that's the way the system is. The system is getting the light shined on it. I think Bitcoin is showing you, is like the camera. The camera is Bitcoin and digital currencies that is shining a light on the fiat currency, coercive, destructive system that we've lived under for so many years, that's impoverished so many people around the world and locked so many people out of financial you know, standard of living, higher standard of living, better standard of living, financial rewards, you know, having some financial security. That system's locked so many people out. But now we have a system in place that's like the camera for the police that will say, we're going to expose you, and if we expose you, the world will rebel against you. The world will not like what they see, and you will lose your authority. And that's the way the police are today. The police realize if a police officer violates someone's rights, beats somebody up, or kills somebody, they lose their position. They get kicked off the police force. They will, you know, could be tried for criminal crimes charges, especially if they kill people like they've done, which has been shown on video, and they lose control. So they don't do it anymore. They behave themselves in a better way if the camera's on them. And this has gone on. They call them audits. They go around and they audit police officers, and they let. And I bring this example up quite often because I think it's I'm very interested in that, because I know that people's rights get violated all the time, and obviously if you get pulled over by a police officer, the best way to deal with a police officer is by being polite and courteous and be respectful. If you do that, you're probably 95% home. You're probably never going to have a problem. But there are a few every now and then that will be unreasonable, and that's when you need the people with the audits, with the cameras, to come over and shine a light on it and show the people exactly what's going on. That's what's happening right now. That's why I believe the future is bright, because of the information age that we're in, because of the internet, because we have a financial system today in play that works, which is Bitcoin, and digital currencies and smart digital currencies, and economic systems that are built in an aligned interest with communities that want to use them and are not forced to use them. This is the way I think things are going, not into a hoarding darkness of times where people are panicked and scared and they don't know what's going to happen, and they're fearful and things like that. And I think this is happening faster and faster and faster. And this is what I think. And this is kind of like what I would say to those people that are telling me that the new digital system, digital currency, we know it's going to be digital currency. It's going to go that way. It's going to be something that has to do with technology. Technology runs the world. And you're not going to go back to the Stone Age. You're not going to go back to a paper money currency, dollar. You're going to have to go to some sort of smart money, and that's what we're going to go to. We're going to go to a smart digital currency that has aligned interests, that will run the world, that we will be, like I say, smart money, that will have the ability of programmable dollar, programmable, or whatever you want to call it, peso, dollar, you know, whatever you want to call it. It'll be something a unit, whatever you want to say. I used to have a friend of mine when I was a stockbroker, used to call everything a unit. How many units we got going today? Or how many units are we going to sell? Everything was a unit. You never called anything by XYZ company or ABC company. It was always units. Everything was units. So they're going to have units, and the units are going to be digital, and they're going to be programmable, and they're going to be smart, and they're going to run the world. And not only they're going to run the world, they're going to have everybody's interests aligned, and there's going to be a community around it that loves it and uses it and wants it and isn't forced to use it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Trying to tie it all together as well as I can tie it together. So anyway, leave your comment. Like I say, it's a small channel I have. Not a lot of people watch it. I do think some of the things I'm bringing out though are pretty unique. So if you agree with me, you know, leave a comment. If you don't, then leave a comment. I'd like to know what you're saying, because I'm getting a lot of people that won't leave comments on the YouTube. They'll talk to me on Telegram. So I'd like to see you do more comments on the YouTube. So I get more participation from that. So like I say, it's a small channel and not a lot of people watch it, and mainly because I built it around EOS, which EOS raised $4 billion. Now they're probably worth something a little over $3 billion. So in a couple of years of existence, they still haven't gotten past the money they raised. But that's because we're way ahead of the game. I knew that when I started this thing, I was going to be ahead of the game. I didn't realize how much ahead of the game I was. I was actually too ahead of the game. I should have taken a few years off before we started it, because we were in it way before. And like my son's been in it, I think, since 2012. So yeah, we've been in it for a long, long time. And we've watched this thing progress and happen. And everything I've seen so far just reinforces what I'm just saying to you tonight. The future is bright. Things are good. These interests are aligned. People are going to want to use this currency. It will be a digital currency. We're not going to go back to some Stone Age centralized system that runs the world with the force of a gun. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.